Starting. Okay, now we're live. So this get posted to my YouTube channel, and I'll give you the link to this later, Liz. So for the kids that don't know who you are, your name is Elizabeth Smith. You graduated from Hoover last year. You had an older brother graduate from here, and you have a younger brother who's a freshman, and anybody else we missed?
One in the middle school and one in elementary school. So
there are literally thousands of the Smith family populating North Canton. Thousands. So the first category I want to look at here, Liz, has to do with academics. How much writing, reading, actually, before we even get to that, I do want to know about the academics, but can you introduce yourself to the kids, tell them where you're going to school, stuff like that. So go ahead and go.
All right. My name is Liz Smith. I graduated last year. I am going to the University of Cincinnati. It is 4 hours south of North Canton, and I am majoring in business undecided. So I'm in the Lindner College of Business right now, and I'm taking a bunch of business classes to figure out what I want my major to be.
Okay, and go ahead and tell us, like, academically, like, how much time do you spend reading, how big are your class sizes, stuff like that.
All right, so it depends. I have a learning community, which is me and about 30 other business kids, and we have a lot of our core classes together, classes that you have to take if you're in the business program. So I'm taking like Essentials of Business, Business Pathways, and then there's a day where we have a class that I just meet with that group, and we're doing a big project where we meet with a company and we do a SWOT analysis, which is basically just identifying their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and you go and you meet with them. It's very professional and very small. They're similar to like Hoover's class sizes, but I am in 2 other classes that I wasn't forced to take. They're ones that I chose, which is Introduction to Marketing, which has about 150, and then Microeconomics actually has over 250, which is the highest that they've ever had for that class. But
so you're saying 250 students?
Yeah, in that class. So it is really big, but it doesn't feel like that. It was kind of weird at first, but if you have a question, you can still ask, and everyone's quiet and everything. So it's not too much different when it boils down to it. The only difference for me is that I have a lot more friends in the smaller classes because you see the same people over and over. But if you go into those big classes, you just sit by someone different every day, unless you like choose to sit by the same people.
Okay, cool. In terms of academic perks, I guess the biggest thing, I don't know how many of these bullet points you can answer here. You kind of have that learning community that you talked about. Could you tell us a little bit more about your learning community? Like, what is that? How did you get into that? What does that entail?
Okay, so for most of the programs here, you do have to be in a learning community. I know that for engineering you do, and then for business you do, and mine lasts a whole year. I know that the engineering one, you're in it for half of the year, and then your spring semester, if you want to be in another learning community, you can sign up for it. But if it's not really something that you want to do anymore, you don't have to. But mine is the full year because we have our big project with the company and everything. And it's basically just a set group of kids that you're in a lot of the same classes with. So it's kids that you can rely on for homework, advice, or just any questions, or if you miss class and you need notes. It's just people that they put in the same classes as you. So like my learning community, business calculus that we're in every single day from 9 to 10. So I have that with them, and then I have business pathways, business essentials with them as well. So I have about 3 classes together.
Cool. Business calculus sounds awful, by the way. It sounds like the scariest thing that anyone's ever taken in their lives.
It's really not fun.
How much, you answered how much reading and writing already, right? Like, how much homework do you have every night? Like, how many hours do you go to the library? Like, what do you do? Like, you go to, like, tell us maybe, how often are you in class, Monday through Friday? maybe what times do you go to class, and then after class, what do you do? Do you go to the library? Do you go back to your dorm? Do you have a study group? Like, what do you do?
All right, yeah, so it's pretty flexible when you're making your schedule. If you're more of a morning person, you might take a heavier morning load, which is what I did, or it also depends on if the classes fill up and then you don't really have a choice, and some classes aren't offered later in the day. But for me, I take math every single day from 9 to 10, so that never changes. Monday through Friday, I always have math. And then on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I have classes from 9 to 10. So I have business pathways on Monday from 9 to 10, and then I go straight to math. And then on Wednesday, I have business essentials, and then I go to math. And on Friday is when I meet with my learning community, and then I go to math. And then also on those Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, I have economics from 1:30 to 2:30. So I have a pretty nice gap in between. So I finish up math on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at about 11:05, and then I have until basically 1 until I need to start walking to my next class. So I have time to eat lunch or do some homework before I go there. And then on Tuesday and Thursday, I have a marketing class from 8 to 9:30, and since it's only 2 days a week, it's an hour and a half, but the classes that I take 3 days a week are only an hour, and then business calc is every single day. So it's an hour every day, but it's worth more credits. And then I had to take a
I'm going to butt in here real quick. So is that calc,
Yeah.
is that like a 5-credit class since it's every day?
Yeah, so business calculus, basically I took pre-calc my senior year, dual enrollment with Mrs. Wiley. So I went in with that credit from, I think it's Stark State. So I had that, and then if you do business calculus here, which is for the business kids, or if you are in engineering or fine arts or whatever, they offer ones that are harder, but they're only 1 semester. So that's what I'm doing right now. I chose the heavy workload and the going every single day just because all I have to take is business calculus, and then after the semester, I never have to take math again. So that's why I chose to do that. Because I could have taken like an easier one and it could have lasted all year, which is what applied calculus is, but fast-paced every day.
You mentioned something really important there that I think we all need to know. You talked about lunch. How is lunch? Like, what's the meal plan like? What is it like? What do you normally get? Are there set times for lunch, dinner, breakfast? Just what can you tell us about the food situation?
Okay, yeah, so I highly recommend getting the unlimited meal plan wherever you go. You couldn't get by with the limited, but it's really more of like a social thing that I didn't realize it would be. Like if you, and they just want to go get like some ice cream from the dining halls, which we have soft serve ice cream machines in every dining hall, which is pretty horrible because everyone just eats ice cream all the time. But if you just want to go, or you just want to go get, like, fill up your water bottle even, like you can just scan your card and go in there. But the food is pretty nice. I mean, it's obviously different than home cooked meals or buying your food. It's better than Hoover's lunches by a lot. So, I mean, it's not gross. They have different things that are every single day. Like they always have a salad bar, and they have pizza every single day, and then they have things like they always have a vegan, like a vegan card is at Hoover, like one for like vegan, and then they have like a home style cooking one, which is more of like comfort type food. So those change every single day. And they also have like a grill, they call it a grill type thing, where they have like chicken sandwiches or hamburgers or hot dogs. And I mean, I think it's good. And we have breakfast, lunch, dinner every single day. The timing, I'm not exactly sure. I think that breakfast ends at 10 or 11. And then the transition between lunch and dinner is like 3 or 4. But they're always open, and we have one dining hall that's open until midnight every night. So I mean,
that's pretty cool. Are there any places you can go off campus? Like, can you take your meal plan to go to like Chipotle or Burger King or Circle K or anything like that?
Okay, so if you get the unlimited meal plan, which is what I did, they give you 150 Bearcat dollars, and that's 150 like completely real dollars. It's just on your student ID. And you can use that at a ton of places around here. We can use it at like Subway, Chipotle, Starbucks. We do have like a Burger King and a Chick-fil-A. And then we have some other stuff that we don't have back in North Canton, like Cane's and BB Bop and Insomnia.
What was that again? BB8? What was that?
It's called BB Bop. It's like an Asian Chipotle, basically. I don't know. It's really big here. There's a lot of stuff that I learned when I came down that I didn't.
That sounds amazing. Asian Chipotle? That's like the greatest thing in the world.
I know. I haven't been yet, and people get on me about that. But it's like you can pick rice or like Asian noodles and stuff, and then you pick all your toppings. But you can also, our meal plans, you can use them at the dining halls, but then we have places that aren't really like dining halls. We have this place called Catskeller. It's kind of like a Bearcat thing, I don't know, and they have like to-go salads and sandwiches and stuff, so you can use one of your meal swipes for that. But obviously if you have unlimited, you don't have to worry about tracking it or anything. So if you don't want to use your Bearcat card for the like purchasing food, you can do that for like the free meal swipes, and you can always add money to it. Like your parents can go in and add money, or you can, so even if you run out of money, it's like how you do your laundry, which is big. I had no idea how the laundry worked. It took me forever to figure it out. It was impossible to find on Google, but you just go down and you like swipe your Bearcat card, and it'll take off like $1.50 depending on if you're using the washer or the dryer. And then, so you always want to make sure you have money on that because you use that for Starbucks and everything. So it's really nice.
Cool. You had mentioned Mrs. Wiley's math class. How do like the classes stack up? Like I know it's pretty early in your college career, but how do you feel like the classes you took in high school, how do they compare to the classes you take in college?
Well, it's a lot different for me. It's a lot more figuring out when to do it rather than it being hard necessarily. Not that it isn't hard, but in high school you have like, you wake up and you drive to school and you spend that 8 hours at school and you focus on getting your homework done and doing your work. And then when you get home, you might have homework or studying to do, but it's like, it feels very separated. But once you come to college, it's very just joined together, and you wake up and you just kind of walk to class, but then you come back and then you walk to class again and come back, and then you might have like another class. And so you have to figure out, because it never feels like you're really away from school in a different place, so you don't have like the pressure to get it done like before you go home. So hard. I think that the tests are harder, and they mean a lot more in college than they did in high school, because in high school you had a lot of homework grades and quiz grades and just projects and everything. But in college it's like you have 3 tests and your final exam, and that is it. So this is worth like 25% of your grade. You have to do well. So I mean, in math I do have homework grades and quiz grades, but in every other class it's mostly just like you have to do well on these gigantic tests, or there's really no cushion. So it's not too much harder, but it's a lot more pressure, I would say. You really need to know what you're doing for the test, because there's no like extra credit or anything like that to cushion it.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's one of the things I always forget to tell kids, is that there really is no cushion. A lot of your classes, you'll have like 4 assignments that count for your whole grade for months worth of work. And a lot of times your final will be anywhere from a quarter to a half of your grade. I mean, it's kind of scary.
Yeah, you just have to really focus on studying for it. And terms last week, and I went to every class and I paid attention and I took the notes that I needed to take, and I didn't necessarily deep read every chapter I was supposed to read, but I did skim it and get my general knowledge of it and everything, and study the vocab and all of the concepts. College is a lot more of the application, so I don't know if you guys have taken like APA or Gov or even AP Psych. It's more like that, where it's not like what is the definition of like a market. It would be an application of it, and you would have to know like situational things. So you definitely can't just memorize a bunch of garbage the night before and be able to like spew it back, which is what I did in high school a lot, not gonna lie, but you really do have to understand it, which is biggest difference to me.
Good, I appreciate that. Let me ask you this. I don't want you to get too personal with this, but in terms of financial aid, is there anything you can tell us? Like, did you get any scholarships, grants? And again, don't get personal. I don't want you to have to release like personal stuff. Is there anything about Cincinnati where you're going to school that helped you financially, or I don't know, whatever?
Honestly, it's kind of hard to get financial aid from Cincinnati just because a lot of kids go here, so it's a lot more competitive. And I did get more financial aid money from every other school I applied to, actually, but it wasn't enough from the other schools to make me go there and settle instead of coming here. And I did get some, but most of the money that you would get would be from the what's it called? I can't think of it.
Like the FAFSA stuff and the Pell Grants. And
yeah, the FAFSA. I could not think of it. Sorry. So if your parents are like middle class, you're not going to get any money from them. I mean, I didn't get any money from FAFSA. So if you're in like the typical, like what I would consider like most Hoover kids, most of us did not get money from FAFSA. So I would not be too bent out of shape if you didn't get money from them. The reason that you have to do the FAFSA, even if you know that you're not going to get any money, like when I was doing it, I knew that I wasn't going to get any. My brother didn't get any. They don't make like tons of money, but they just make enough that it's not something that the government will give you. But you have to do it in order to get loans. So you have to fill out the FAFSA in order for colleges to get like your background and your financial like state, so that they know if you're like trustworthy enough to get a loan. And I did end up getting a loan. I got it through Discover Student Loans, which worked out well. And I did the one where you don't have to start paying it until you graduate and pay on it, but you don't have to, which was big for me because I didn't want to like have a situation where I like had to and I couldn't or anything like that. But I did end up going to Cincinnati instead of the other schools that gave me a little bit more money, just because we have co-oping here. So that's where we go and we work full-time for a company every other semester, and they pay you full-time. So in the long run, you end up staying one more year. So it's 5 years instead of 4. And what you do is you go your full freshman year, and then sophomore year, you go to school in the fall. And then that spring, you would co-op. So I would go work for, say, like the marketing department of some business, and it can be anywhere in the country, really. You just have to apply. You have to get the job. You can do it through the school, or you can do it on your own and then apply it to the school and make sure that they accept it. So since I had that option here to go and work full-time and then put that money to paying off school, it's a lot more saved money. And Cincinnati has the #1 return on investment in the country for that, actually. So
it's almost like secret or hidden financial aid. I think it's a great program. I think it's a really good program. Let's talk about something a little less serious. Could you maybe show us around your room a little bit? Show us like what a dorm room in Cincinnati. I don't know if you can pick up your computer or.
Yeah.
Give us the grand tour, if you will.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but all right, we have our dorm, which has a big mirror, and then you got like this big closet.
I can't hear you, Liz.
Oh, can you hear me now? Is that
Yeah, it's a little better when you're in front of the screen.
okay? So this is a traditional double. I have like we each have a wardrobe, and then I have like a TV and some storage up there, and then I have our desk. and then a bed, and then each room comes with a mini fridge and a microwave, and then you have like these really big windows. And I won't show you my roommate's side, but it does.
That's a really nice view. That's a sweet view.
Yeah,
I wasn't able to hear a lot of that. Could you maybe like
Oh.
recap it for us here while we're sitting down?
Yeah, so basically, I'm living in Stadal, and it's co-ed by floor. So like floor 1 is nothing but boys. I'm on floor 9, so there's only girls on this floor, and you have a community bathroom, which some people freak out about, but I've heard worse stories from people that have the quads, or they're almost like apartment style, and they fight over people leaving their clothes in the bathroom and who needs to clean it next, and it's just a really big mess. But I live where there's a community bathroom, and it's cleaned every single night, so it's always really nice. I don't have to worry about it. They restock toilet paper and all that, and some of my friends do have to worry about like going downstairs asking for toilet paper. Just not fun stuff. And then in my room, it's like a big mirror on the back of the door, which makes it feel bigger. And then we each get big wardrobes and desks. And then our beds are junior lofted, and fully lofted would just be like a bunk bed without the bottom bed. So you could put a couch under there, whatever you feel like you need. I just have mine junior lofted, so it's not at the regular like level, obviously, because I'm sitting next to it and it's right here. Storage underneath, and they give you a big dresser that goes underneath your bed. So I thought that I wouldn't have a lot of space, and then I got here and I was like, wow, I should have brought more stuff because I'm not even filling up all these drawers. And the view is really nice. Everyone that comes here really likes the view. It makes the room feel really big because the whole back wall is like windows. Yeah.
Yeah, your view is sweet. That's a really good view. Without getting too graphic, Liz, in terms of student life and maybe things that you do on the weekends or whatever, and again, try not to give my kids any ideas, but what kind of fun things do you do on the weekends that you can tell us about?
Okay, so my favorite thing to do on the weekends, again, but we have football games, like season pass. So football games in college are a lot more fun than high school. I will account for it's amazing, especially when you go to a big school. There's tons of people there, and everyone like participates, and you know all these chants and cheers, and it's just a lot more lively. We played Houston a couple weeks ago, which is in the Big Ten, and that was crazy. We almost beat them, but we didn't. But we had a record amount of students come, and it was just crazy. That's my favorite. And then a lot of people go out to eat afterwards, or just, so I mean, that's my favorite thing, just because the whole campus gets pretty hyped up. Speaking of sports, we have games for our university, and then we also have FC Cincinnati, so any soccer players know that that's like our national soccer team, and they play on our field. Actually, they play at Nippert, so they'll like get all the paint off the field, and then they'll repaint it, and be there, which they shut down quite a bit of campus for, but it's still exciting. And other than that, I don't have a car here because I live in a city, and you have to pay a lot of money to park in the parking garages and stuff. I would need it my first semester. I'm thinking about bringing it down next semester just so I can kind of go places if I need to. You can always rent an Uber. More expensive here than back at home city, and it takes longer to get the same distance at home, but you get there faster. So I have gone into the city a few times, which is really fun. They had Oktoberfest here a couple weeks ago, and it's like this gigantic German festival, and they shut down a lot of the streets in Cincinnati, and I went to that. I don't know. Some people don't do the best stuff on the weekends, but if you're not interested in like drinking or whatever, it's not like you're forced to. It's not like it's everywhere or something.
So basically what you're saying is if you want to have, like, find some fun activities to do, there are plenty of things to do around campus
For sure.
and in the city and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think you pretty much answered almost all of our questions. Is there anything you want to add in, Liz, something you think the kids should know?
Just in general?
Yeah, I don't know if there's any, like, helpful tidbits or
Okay, so these are
maybe something that
juniors,
you learned
right?
from college, like from being here, that you didn't know before.
These are juniors, right?
What's that?
Yeah.
Say it again.
Okay. These are juniors, right? They aren't seniors?
Right, these are my honors juniors.
Okay, yeah. So basically, if you want your senior year to be fun and less stressful than mine was and a lot of my friends was, is to start figuring out what you think you want to do. Your junior year, it hits you like a brick wall. Your senior year, it is very intense, very fast. You have to decide which colleges to apply to. Cost money to apply to colleges. So, I mean, stuff that I had not been informed of. And I did, when I was in Clark's honors juniors class, we did talk to people, but got into college as much, which I kind of wish I would have heard. Senior year, you will have count. They will not talk to you to school, and by the time they do talk to you,
Liz, hold on a
honestly,
second. Your connection's breaking up a little bit. Can you repeat that last part there a little bit?
Starting where? Sorry.
With what you were talking about senior year, like it gets super crazy and hectic, and from there.
Yeah, okay. So your senior year, it's going to be amazing and stuff, but it gets really scary because you have to figure out, like, do I want to live at home? Do I want to move somewhere? Oh, what do I want to do? And I didn't have it all figured out. I'm not going to pretend like I did. I don't think anyone 100% knows. Even if people know where they want to go, they don't know what they want to do, or they know what they want to do, but they don't know where to go, or if they're going to be able to afford it. Coming from me, anyone can afford it with loans and everything now. You don't have to start paying until you get out. So when it boils down to it, don't pick a school just because it's cheaper. And I just don't think it's worth it. It's 4 or 5 years of your life. And it's just like those experiences that you won't be able to have again. So I wouldn't let money be too much of a deciding factor for you. I mean, it obviously is part of it. You don't want to expensive out-of-state school or anything like that, but I personally think that you should go somewhere that you really love, do something that you're at least interested in, or go in some undecided program. Apply early. Apply before December. Get those essays done. Make sure you get your letters of recommendations from your teachers. That was a hassle. I mean, teachers are going to get bombarded. Like, Clark might be your favorite teacher, but like he was my favorite teacher too, and I wanted him to write me a letter of recommendation, but he's writing other kids ones, and you got to give it to him ahead of time because he's not going to bust it out in a night unless it's going to be a really not very good one. So start planning early, figure out your Common App. There's Common App schools you want to apply to, so you could write those essays before you even know. It's have people peer them. Make sure they sound good. Make sure they're things that reflect your personality or just your beliefs. Don't like copy your friend's essay. Don't do something stupid. Don't plagiarize before you get here. It's not, well, you won't get here, but I would just say get ahead, because I didn't, and I didn't realize everything was due. Like, you go into senior year and it's fall and you're like, this is great. So much fun, and you go to homecoming and then you're like, crap, I have all these essays that I need to write in like a month, and I need to figure out letters of recommendation. And most universities, if you want to be considered for financial aid or you want to get in any of the honors programs especially, you have to apply before December 1st. You just have to. It's with most universities, that's how it is. So you definitely want to do that. And I know that it was like that for you, and it was like that same with Akron and Cincinnati. Just get ahead. 'Cause I mean, I was on it and I did finish it in time, but it's just a lot.
Well, thanks a lot, Liz. I just have one more question for you. You working right now? Are you doing like working at the school? Do you have a job? Do you plan to get a job? Do you plan to work for the school?
I do not have a job right now. I did have a job back home. Didn't want to have to balance that. I wanted to be able to put myself into school because I knew it was going to be a lot. The average credit hour that students take is 15 to 18, and I'm taking 18, so I'm on the heavier side. And I do have a lot of work. Not that it's impossible, not that I'm up until midnight doing homework, nothing ridiculous. I still hang out with my friends, watch Netflix, whatever, but you just have to manage it.
Cool. Thanks a lot, Liz. I really appreciate it. I'm going to stop the broadcast. If you can, just kind of hang on the line here. I got a couple things I want to ask you real quick, so let me shut this down.
All right.